Hello, everybody. It's been a while since I've done anything on my channel. Again. Yeah, as it turns out, I wound up being much more busy during this bullshit time of 2020 than I ever would have imagined. And by busy, of course, I mean I installed Phantasy Star Online 2 and fell for that game harder than a fat kid falling down the stairs after slipping on a banana peel. So in other words, I've been sinking way too much time into it. Don't worry though, guys, I won't apologize for my absence this time. Yes, we're going to take a completely different route to this update video. You see, there's this thing that I've wanted to talk about in a video today that I'm going to share with you. A rant of sorts that I've wanted to get off of my chest for a very long time. Something that has been slowly eating away at what little modicum of sanity that I have remaining at this current time. What I'm talking about, of course, my friends, is the YouTube comments section. Now, you guys might have seen my rant about the Arknights drama, and in that video, the thing that had coincidentally pushed me over the edge to even make a fucking rant about it in the first place was Dreamy's comment section. Also, if you're wondering why my style and tone seems to be a little bit different or normal, then I apologize. I've been watching a metric assload of A Kind Ale Wars videos, and that guy is absolutely just so goddamn hilarious. You should check him out if you enjoy rant content. Seriously, I've never laughed so consistently at a rant video in all of my life. Anyway, link is in the description if you actually give a shit. Anyway, so now that we have all the boring background shit out of the way, let's get to the actual meat of the fucking video, shall we? So what the hell was having my trousers exactly in such a twist about the YouTube comment section that I feel to make a fucking video about it? Well, until last year, nothing. Seriously. From the very genesis of this channel, only last year, from that point, had I ever looked at the comment on a video and thought to myself, what the actual fuck was the point behind writing this comment out? Because I don't understand the mentality behind it. Now, I bet by this point you guys want an actual circumstantial piece of evidence to provide as an example to what the holy hell that I mean. So in order to provide the example that was the entire reason for making this video in the first place, we need to remember a time when my popularity on this platform had experienced a minor hiccup in notoriety. I mean this in a good way, mind you. My channel suddenly had a small surge in popularity once I started 2 projects last year. The first is the almighty Let's Play of Lobotomy Corporation, something that I need to be working on, but won't be happening until a little later in the week, I'm sorry. And the second is a very specific video that just so happens to be my most popular video on the entire channel. That video in question is my Starbound in 2019 video. I was very excited when making this video, and if I'm being honest, this video is one of my best examples of the better work that I've done on my channel when I'm truly passionate about the project that I'm working on. There are, of course, a myriad of flaws with the video, I won't deny that, but I'm confident in saying that I am very proud of how it turned out. This is one of my better works, therefore, of course, I am going to be somewhat defensive of any negative criticism that I receive for it, as it's simply only natural to do. The thing is, the comments section has a complete fucking duality to it. 90% of people are either talking about how decent the video is despite how small my channel is, or they are starting up a discussion about the game and one of the many mechanics that I most likely had discussed in the video, which is exactly what I had wanted in the first place. I went on a goddamn rant for 20 minutes talking about one of my favorite games to give it exposure and open discussions about something that I am passionate about, and that's so great. Literally, genuinely, to know that this was an effect of the video that I had created, that people were talking about it. Truly, it makes me really happy that it even hit the view count that it did, with so many people having those responses on it. On the other hand, however, here comes the other side of the duality that I had mentioned earlier, which belongs to people who either half-watched the video or missed the entire fucking point of it and then went to criticize a part of my script out of their own ignorance. Now, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen, I actually do write a fucking script for these things. Look, here it is right here. Woo! Look at that. Look at that beautiful script. Anyway, that was completely not written, if you didn't see that. I'm not going to use screenshots of the comments in question here because, frankly, it's pointless. I don't want to restrict free speech in my comment section, but I also don't want to paint a fucking target on the forehead of everyone that feels the need to call me out on my bullshit because, believe it or not, I'm just as infallible as everybody else in the world. Meaning I'm very fallible and capable of making mistakes on a regular basis, so constructive criticism is really a necessity for a content creator to grow and get better. We all know this, but my problem is that out of the 3 critiques on the script that I've been called out for on 2 separate occasions, I was called out for something that isn't even really that important to the actual message of the video, which is this part right here. Anyway, like I said, it is a survival crafting game which will commonly be compared to titles like Terraria or Minecraft due to its minimalist voxel-based elements. Now, when I say voxel-based, I'm referring to boxes or cubes. A voxel would even properly describe a single pixel on a bitmap. This is taken straight out of a wiki article, by the way. But I'm not actually referring to the pixel art itself, but rather the environments, as it's very clear that the worlds are made of a series of boxes/cubes, or, in other words, voxels. Good. Now I'm glad that we can understand each other. Let's play that one more time for the people in back. Pay attention to it and tell me if you guys see the issue with it. But I'm not actually referring to the pixel art itself, but rather the environments, as it's very clear that the worlds are made of a series of boxes/cubes, or, in other words, voxels. Good. Now I'm glad that we can understand each other. Did you guys catch the problem with that part of the video by chance? No? Well, don't worry, because nobody fucking else did either. If you did happen to catch it, then good for you, but I've been called out on 2 separate occasions now on how accurate this part of the script was for defining a voxel. Even though the wiki article that I had cited is on the screen right there to correct me if my statements were incorrect. This isn't the first time I've done this in my videos, and it definitely won't be the last. There are many times where I will use a word and then put the definition of said word on screen from Googling it so that you know what the definition of the word is on screen. This is simply something that I do in order to avoid saying something stupid on screen or to provide information to what I am talking about. For any of you who are not very well versed in video editing, YouTube, or just speech in general, even with a script in front of your fucking face, you're bound to make countless mistakes reading it regardless. You can mispronounce a word, you can draw a mental blank where you awkwardly stop talking for 30 seconds, or my favorite one that I've done several times in this video, when your tongue suddenly sticks to the side of your mouth from all the coffee that you drank or some shit, and then you just start talking all fucking gibberish or something, or spit. Anyway, the point of the matter is that anyone from the drama club in high school will back me up and say that reading and talking, it's harder than it fucking looks, especially when information is involved and accuracy of said information. Allow me to provide some information to you guys if you aren't familiar with video editing as well. Back when I recorded the narration for this video, by the time that I had noticed this error, the video was already sitting in HitFilm Express for over an hour exporting, because that's what happens when you edit a video. You have to render it to be able to put it into a format that you can upload to YouTube with the proper specifications. In order to fix this error, I would need to re-record the narration, or at least cut out the one part of the original audio that I replaced it with. You see, when you edit a video in professional editing software environments, you have a timeline. This timeline is the timeline for the video, as you would catch, meaning that any discrepancy with the narration will cause any editing that I have done in the video to be off timing. I'm not sure if you've noticed, but this video had a lot of fucking cuts and edits on it. So that means the entire video would have needed to be fixed and rewatched, checking the timing of every audio and video cut and insert to be able to fix the issue, and then export it for another hour and a half. This being said, you can imagine my frustration when the video that I put 2 weeks of editing work into it every single day for hours receives 2 comments on it correcting me about how a voxel and a pixel are not the same because a voxel is in 3D space and a pixel is in 2D space, even when I already knew this. Who fucking cares? The goddamn wiki article says this right on the fucking screen. Why is this so important to call me out on when it's a video that talks about the features of Starbound, not the features of voxels? Of all the things I did wrong in this video, this is what deserved the most attention? I mean, I never claimed to be factually correct. I said that I used the article on screen to prevent my fucking thesis. An educated person would fact-check me and see the article I mentioned if you truly care that much about the actual definition. And if you don't, then why the fuck are you taking my word as God anyway? I mean, I get it, this is definitely a mistake on my part. I don't deny that, but God, this is like people who get annoyed at YouTubers making a hot take on a recent video game that came out and calling it a review, even though it's just a 10-minute overly subjective look of how they felt about the game. Oh, well, he didn't do anything objective about it. This is all just his opinion. Yeah, that's the point. He's trying to make a video on it. I mean, obviously. Because they didn't want to make a fucking 6-hour-long format video series about if Soma or Amnesia the Dark Descent is a scarier game. Yes, I'm looking at you, Mahler. No, I'm just kidding. I absolutely do love Mahler's videos, and if you guys don't know who he is, and I just want to point out that I actually really love his content. He puts a shitload of effort into these things, and if you have the attention span to sit through it, he does make really good arguments and objective analysis over video games. I highly recommend that you guys take a look at him as well. In the description, you will see that link. Anyway, however, my point is that you can make short 10 to 20 minute overviews about a game and still have effort behind it. I wish I could write a 3-hour video commentary script over everything that I could talk about in a game. I really would like to talk about Starbound that extensively with you guys. Seriously, I do. But I neither have the time, nor do I care enough to put that much work into something that only 3 people are going to actually watch and show genuine interest for. I have to shave corners here and there in order to make a shortcut around the problems that I will eventually run into due to my format that I do now. Like placing a fucking webpage that I had cited information on to put it on the goddamn screen, just in case I said something incorrect. This is a stylistic choice, more so than a mistake. And like I said, ladies and gentlemen, there are plenty of mistakes in this video. It is far from perfect. The entire audio sample for the narration has mouse clicks in the background because I had recorded it with a Blue Yeti microphone while my sister played fucking League of Legends on the futon behind me. For example, I stumbled and get tongue-tied several times throughout the scripts, and I kept it rather than re-recording it. Here is that despite being an obvious voxel-based survival crafting game clone look-alike thing, I don't fucking know, it does have a storyline to it though, is what I'm trying to point out. My description for how the worlds and characters get saved is confusing, and I never even go into the multiplayer. More on this later. This clip is fucking cringe, even if the planet is perfectly identical to another one. I'm not saying that this is a substitute for game content or anything, but it is pretty neat how after spending 200 plus hours on this game, I can still be caught off guard when visiting a planet and getting hit right in my ass by a giant ice meteor that I didn't even know fucking existed 5 minutes ago. But, you know, that was a pleasant experience. For any of you who have never played this game, this is an Urchius ghost, and very clearly it doesn't take damage from modern weaponry. It doesn't take damage at all, I don't think. So why the ever-loving fuck did I even think that it was fitting to talk about procedural generation while I am doing a metaphorical equivalent of throwing pebbles and paper airplanes at a soul-sucking space ghost? Seriously, this clip fucking pisses me off and it hurts to watch this in post, but I'm doing this for you guys. Don't ever say that I'm not dedicated to my work. This hurts me. But yeah, fuck any of these actual criticisms for your video. Fuck you moron. You don't know the difference between a voxel and a pixel. You must be new here. Dislike. I mean, fuck, man, like... Look, don't misinterpret me here, people. I get it. I really do. And I should have worded that part of the video about voxels with a little bit more clarity. Yes. But the point is that in my 6 years on YouTube, I don't think that I have ever gotten one singular comment from somebody about one of my videos that was constructive enough to actually learn from. This bothers me because I know that for a fact, there is so much more that I can work on and do better to improve my videos. I am far from a really great content creator. The sub count should attest to this, and I'm not saying that every single comment that people throw on my videos should be criticism of my work that I can learn from and take into consideration. I'm not even saying that if you say something negative about someone else's work that you should always be constructive about saying it. I'm not even saying that you should do this most of the time. I'm just saying that I can't wrap my brain around why somebody would go out of their way to watch a 20-minute video labeled Starbound in 2019, and the only thing that they could derive from what they had seen to throw into a comment is how I refer to the blocks in Starbound as voxels. And that's what the fucking game calls the item, by the way. It is a dirt block. So if we're really going to get literal here, I was never wrong in the first place, but that's aside from the point. Anyway, I guess I'm done here, ladies and gentlemen. In all honesty, I lost the real point of the video by this point in the script. I guess I feel a bit better after talking about it, or at least writing out my fucking feelings on the matter and on a stupid notepad document and then shouting into an overpriced microphone about it like a deranged lunatic. Like I said, guys, don't harass comments like these if you ever see them on my videos. I want free speech in my comment section, so they are entitled to say things just like everybody else. I'm not even disgruntled about this, if I'm being perfectly honest, but I don't know. Then again, I did just spend 2 to 3 fucking hours writing a script about a goddamn YouTube comment, so maybe I'm just a tsundere. I don't know. Anyway, if there's a summarizing point for me to make here, ladies and gentlemen, then it's this. Honestly, I guess I just really don't understand criticism. I don't know. I mean, I'm in a weird middle ground with this that I only just now realized after writing the scripts, where on one hand, I think it's absolutely ridiculous that 2 fucking people felt the need to call out the whole pixels versus voxels comparison because it's just a silly and irrelevant point to bitch about in the video. But on the other hand, no one should just blindly like the things that I pump out. You are entitled to like and dislike whatever you want, even if your reasoning is because, fuck you, that's why. I encourage your freedom of choice, I really do. Also, on the third hand that nobody even saw coming in this ass-backwards metaphor, I also read these negative comments and think a lot of my misunderstanding comes from my expectations, believe it or not. I read the opening of it on my phone, and when I get a notification, then I expect something about how an edit isn't properly timed or something, I guess. And then I get something entirely different. And believe me when I say that I hate the age-old saying of, if you have nothing nice to say, then say nothing at all. This is bullshit. It's ludicrous. It's ridiculous. People are often vocal about the shit that they don't like, and they need a dispersal for their aggravation. And I don't want to be that guy that stifles other people when they're bitching about shit that they don't like. We all have to bitch and moan about everything that fucking annoys us, or at least most of it. I know I fucking do all the damn time. I have more ups and downs than a goddamn seismograph when I'm playing video games. It's true. So to leave on a positive note, guys, I'm going to showcase my favorite comment from the Starbound in 2019 video. Allow me to explain why that is. It's not blind praise. It's not a positive or a negative comment about how well or how bad I did on anything in particular. It's not anything close to an analysis. This person simply asked me how the co-op functions in this game, and if they were to play it with their girlfriend. This comment is my all-time favorite, because it made me realize that after all of my ranting about Starbound in the game and its mechanics, that I missed something important. I had never once even said that Starbound had a multiplayer, which is arguably one of the biggest points that could draw somebody's attention to it if they've never heard of it. Actually, I take it back. I did mention the online mode, but I only spent literally 15 seconds saying that the worlds on the server are based on the host's world status. I never touched how quests work or anything mechanically important to this. This comment made me happy because, at least on the surface level, it appears as if this person at least skimmed my video and they wanted an answer for a surprisingly complex question in the multiplayer that was never addressed in the video. Again, this made me realize that I barely even skimmed a major feature of the game, even if it was completely accidental on their parts. But, you know, fuck it, he don't know what a goddamn voxel is because I'm just a mongoloidal fuck. Good night, everybody. Lobotomy Corporation is on the way, I promise, but let me just edit this dumpster fire and put it up on YouTube.